All I know is that of all the wax jackets that I've ever owned, the Tensaw is the most thoroughly thought out and well. Competition is great for the consumer, and in the past 5 years, I've owned no less than 6 different waxed jackets. And I say that with no sense of pride at all. It's kind of embarrassing how much stuff I accumulate. Now, some of these things I've featured on this channel and some I haven't, like this Alan Edmonds wax jacket that I got on clearance for like a song and dance. And if I had to guess, I think it might be made by Barbour, based on a couple of styling cues like that zipper and just a gut feeling having owned a Barbour silk oil jacket in the past. And the options for wax jackets are many. It all depends on what you need. Do you want slim and stylish? Do you want tough and battle ready for the elements? It all depends on what your needs are. Now, you may know if you've watched this channel for any amount of time that I find great joy in bringing smaller brands to your attention. A lot of times these smaller brands are actually a better value proposition than the brands you may find at a department store. Unfortunately, they tend to get overshadowed by the bigger brands because they don't have the marketing budget that the other ones do. And they just, bigger brands tend to get more market share and better known, and the smaller guys just tend to fall by the wayside. And it's for that reason I'm excited to talk about Tom Beckbe today. Now, Tom Beckbe, I believe, is the way you pronounce that name, so that's the way I'm going to refer to them from here on out. I've gotten nailed for my pronunciation before, so if it's totally wrong, just let me know. I'm doing the best I can here with my New England accent and understanding of the American language. I guess it's the English language, really. Now, I first found Tom Beckbe, of all places, while poking around on the Ledbury site. I was looking around there and at some of the partnerships they had done and stuff like that, and I saw Tom Beckbe, and I clicked on their website and poked around a little bit, and they had only a few items there, but I really liked what they were going after, their aesthetic, and it felt to me almost like a pre-buyout version of Filson. The cornerstone of the Tom Beckbe collection is their Tensaw jacket, which comes in 2 models, the original and the ES, or early season, which is made from a lighter material. But for the purposes of this review, we're going to be looking at the full octane original model in this beautiful bluish green hardwood color. Beginning with the construction, we have an 8-ounce shelter cloth waxed canvas main material and a cotton lining dyed to resemble Alabama red clay. And it's a really handsome and unusual combination that I've never seen before. The collar is Bedford cord and stiff enough to stand up on its own. The hardware is antiqued brass, and the zipper is a heavy-duty, 2-way YKK model. Now, just looking at the jacket, you can tell it's made with function as its main priority, with gussets and snap closure vents and bellows pockets big enough to lose a small child in. It's ready for battle. Now, what that battle is depends entirely on you. Originally designed as the ultimate hunting jacket, I can see this being equally as effective in a number of outdoor activities. After all, what it delivers is its ease of movement, tons of storage, durability and quality, and a surprisingly refined look. For example, I'm not a hunter, but I love to get out and hike the New England trails. The waxed cloth does a great job at shrugging off water and not snagging on bramble the way that woolen materials do. Plus, this material looks better the more you beat it up. The big pockets could certainly hold maybe, shotgun shells, but they work equally as well for gloves, binoculars, or a camera. These pockets also have a little trick up their sleeve, or in their pocket, I guess. If you decide that you want them to remain open, just pop open the 3 snaps and use the middle one to snap onto this little strap. Now, whatever you need is right at your grasp, or they can be used as like a dump pouch. They're very, very handy. Then there are the nicely placed hand warmer pockets, which aren't too high. Now, sometimes these pockets are placed so that using them is a real pain in the neck, especially when you have a few layers on, but these are nice and usable. Lest you think that they've forgotten that we're in the modern age, there is a little hidden tech pocket for your smartphone located underneath the storm flap. After all, if you don't post your hike on Instagram, did it even happen? Being discreetly tucked under that storm flap means that if you get stuck in some weather and you really need to batten down the hatches, you absolutely can while keeping your tech safe. This is where the collar design shines too. Sometimes collars on wax jackets are sort of floppy. They won't stand up against your neck. The Tensaw jacket's collar is rigid enough to stay put if you need to flip it up, and by buttoning the storm flap all the way to the top, you're pretty well shielded from the elements, especially if you have a hat with a decently sized brim like this one. This is actually a product that I got from Tom Beckbe over a year ago, and it's been my hiking companion ever since I bought it. I like the look of the Tensaw. It's not overly utilitarian. which means that even if you don't plan on leaving the city, the jacket will serve you well without being overly complicated, and it doesn't look overly technical either, unless you go for the camouflage option, which I think is a little bit more polarizing, but it works just as well for the urban dweller, where an abundance of pockets is still welcome. So being that this is the thicker of the two models, I was curious as to how warm it actually is. Like most jackets of this kind, insulation is minimal. So if you want to wear this jacket with nothing but a t-shirt underneath, you could easily wear it down into the 50s. But the most effective way to use this jacket is as an outer shell. And I found that by wearing a merino wool base layer, a high pile fleece as an insulating layer, and then the Tensaw as an outer layer, the jacket was effective to well below freezing. There is plenty of room to layer up underneath. It's decently cut so that you can adjust your insulating layers as needed. You could replace the fleece with, say, a down mid layer, and then you'll be cozy warm well down into the single digits. The Tensaw jacket is effective in a broad range of temperatures with this capability, and that's kind of something that you will not find in traditional modern day slim fit jackets. If what you're after is an American-made adventure jacket that's built to very high quality standards, then the Tensaw jacket may be for you. And as I mentioned before, I could see this being used in both urban environments and in the outdoors. I've certainly worn it in both and really appreciated the storage that you have at your fingertips. But being $500 means that it's an expensive proposition. So let's take a look at a couple of competitive options. Now, the most obvious is Filson with their mile marker jacket. Now, they do have many other jackets. We're going to choose this one because I find that the design is probably closest to the Tensaw. It uses a similar 8-ounce oil finish cover cloth. This model isn't as fully featured, though, missing the hand warmer pockets, triple snap flaps, and it's imported, not made in the USA, but it does come in at about $100 cheaper. The Barbour Bristol jacket has a similar layout to the Tensaw, but is made out of a lighter 6-ounce material. Now, this is a different look entirely, and it may appeal more to you if you prefer that British design. At $425, it's about $75 cheaper than the Tensaw. Finally, the Bradley Mountain Field Jacket is a slightly more expensive option at $498, but it does use a heavier 10-ounce waxed canvas. Now, while the layout is similar to the Tensaw, it appears to be more fashion-focused, and if you're heading out into the wilderness, it looks like this may be secondary to function, although never having worn one or owned one, I'm just going on the pictures that I see on the website here. For example, the Tensaw appears to have more storage overall and more room for layering underneath, so your usage, it may dictate the best option for you. What I know is that the Tensaw is the most thoroughly designed and best built of all the wax jackets that I've ever owned. And I could probably illustrate it best by putting it like this. The Tensaw is sort of like the Super Duty or heavy duty version of a regular pickup truck. It's just beefier, more built for battle, more rugged, more ready for wear. And a lot of times this is not a bad thing because it doesn't come at the expense of looks either. So I think it's an absolute home run. But of course, I want to know what you think. What do you think of Tom Beckbe? Go and check out their site because while they don't have a whole lot of products, what they do have seems to be very well thought out. And being a smaller brand, I want to see if it's something that I should look more into and bring more of their products to your attention. So please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. What I know is that the Tensaw, of all the wax jackets I've owned over the years, is the most thoroughly designed and best built of the ones that I've tried. What I know is that the Tensaw is the most thoroughly designed and best built of the jackets that I've tried over the last 5 years. What I know is that the Tensaw jacket is the best built. What I know is that the Tensaw is the best built formula, just beefed up to handle more, to accept more problems. What I know is that of the jackets I've owned over the last 5 years, the Tensaw is the best built, most thoroughly designed jacket of them all. What I know is that over the last 5 years of all the What I know is that of all the jackets I've owned over. What I know is that of all the wax jackets I've owned.